Lapu-Lapu. When you visit the Philippines, especially in Cebu, you might hear the name of Lapu-Lapu. You might heard him on educational videos, or in videos and mobile games, or reenactments just like this. Growing up in Cebu, my people here are proud of Lapu-Lapu's heroism against Magellan, based on what the history book told us. Many historians are still looking at what really happened at the time. It says that Lapu-Lapu defended their land against the Spanish invaders, which is Magellan. But was it really? We know that Magellan was a sailor in a great expedition to navigate and explore what lies beyond the East Indies across the Pacific Ocean. The goal was to reach the Spice Islands of Maluku, Indonesia, and open a new trading route for Spain. Thus began the first recording trip around the globe. Magellan wanted to prove that the world was round, and through his exploration, he did prove that the Earth is round. The trick behind this, as far as Lapu-Lapu was concerned, Mactan was another attempt by Raha Humabon to displace him. He didn't defend Mactan against a foreign aggressor, but he simply drove away an enemy combatant. But what Lapu-Lapu is a symbol. That this was a time when Filipino was trying to figure out what it meant to be Filipino. Here are some other insights of other Filipino who also find this controversial. Lapu-Lapu technically is not a national hero, said Michael Ray. First, there was still no nation at the time of Lapu-Lapu. The Philippines we know today was previously composed of multiple kingdoms from distinct cultural groups or tribes with their own language and traditional territories of land and sea. There was no sense of nationhood for the entire archipelago. Second, there were no Philippines at the time of Lapu-Lapu. When Villalobos arrived more than 20 years after Magellan, his crew named Las Islas Filipinas only in the island of Samar and Leyte, and not the entire archipelago. Only years later, when the Spaniards adopted the name the entire country. Natives of the Philippines were also not called Filipinos but Indios. The people originally referred to as Filipinos were the Insulares, Spaniards born in the Philippines. Third, the fight between Magellan and Lapu-Lapu was really not between two nations but a fight between two native kingdoms, Datu Lapu-Lapu versus Raha Humabon. They were actually brothers-in-law as Lapu-Lapu's sister was among the wives of Humabon. It was Lapu-Lapu's refusal to pay taxes to Humabon that caused the conflict. As Magellan befriended Humabon, the latter request Magellan is to kill his rival. After the defeat of Battle of Mactan, Humabon later poisoned the remaining Spanish soldiers. Luckily, some had escaped to return to Spain. Fourth, historical accounts mention that he had the sinister reputation of being a pirate. Lapu-Lapu was already an old datu at the time of the Battle of Mactan and no longer a fighting muscular person depicted in painting and statues. The Aguinid Chronicle stated that Lapu-Lapu was originally from Borneo and Humabon offered to him the now Mandawi for agriculture and so the economy flourished. Lapu-Lapu later became a stronger and influential and decided to become a pirate and looted ships passing the now Mactan, which significantly lowered the tributes for Humabon. Lastly, there is no Philippine law declaring a national hero. In 1995, the Philippine National Heroes Committee officially recommended several people for the designation, but this was not acted upon. As of today, no one had ever been officially recognized as a Philippine national hero, not even Rizal, Bonifacio, Aguinaldo, Del Pilar, or Lapu-Lapu. Lapu-Lapu was not even included on the committee's recommended list. Lapu-Lapu's fight was not for a country but for himself and his territory. This is where Friedrich Nietzsche's will of power enters. Nietzsche's will of power states that there is a metaphysical principle underpinning of all reality, which is the will. This will is characterized by a struggle for life, for existence as its primary purpose. This will of power is a human affair because it has a certain degree of intelligence, the ability to influence the behavior of others for the course of events. Life's desire is to increase. We are wanting more and can't ever be satisfied. In other words, we are projecting the authority of our ego over and above the authority of the egos of others. So Lapu-Lapu is not a hero, but he is a survivor, a man who has the power to surpass other powers on his land. But he will never be at the top of the food chain. So as Magellan, so as Humabon, and so as us. There will always be a power that will surpass us in every way because we are not perfect, we are not God. This is an endless cycle of devour. Power will eat us. The Statue of Sentinel of Freedom or the Lapu-Lapu Monument in Rizal Park. I choose this site because this is also romanticized by a lot of people and it has a controversy regarding the site. Before the statue was placed, the project was opposed by the National Historical Institute, which insisted that only statues of heroes of the Philippine Revolution could be stand in the Agrifina Circle. The statue was momentarily dismantled from the Agrifina Circle sometime in May 2004, which was met with the opposition including the local government of Lapu-Lapu City at that time. This form is called the Devourer. You see the statue of Lapu-Lapu, or the statue that symbolizes freedom rather, being eaten or devoured by a dark entity or a force that symbolizes power itself. The Devourer is the continuous cycle of power which is eaten by another greater power, and to be eaten again by another much greater power without ending. This is to tell a message where we can conquer and devour anyone with a lesser power than us, but we are also vulnerable to people that have much greater power over us. It is like a food chain where no one can reach the top of it. Hitler tried it, but then again he failed.